Good morning, students. I hope you're off to a wonderful Monday this morning. I'm excited to be doing math with you today. We are going to go through some flashcards this morning, and I'm going to see if you can beat Mrs. Whiting. Now, you can't see Mrs. Whiting right now, but I promise you she's right here with me, and as I flash my cards, you see if you can beat what Mrs. Whiting says is her answers, okay? Here we go. We're going to start from the back. I'll flip it forward.
16, 80, 54, 24. That's not right. 24 is right. Oh, wow.
Maybe you beat her on that one. Let's keep going.
27, 36, 72, 40, 64, 56, 18, 63, 80, 96. You probably beat me on that one. 24, 36, 63, 45.
Oh, that's all the ones we're going to review today. How did you do, boys and girls? I hope you haven't forgotten those multiplication facts while you've been away from us. We're going to go ahead. Mrs. Whiting's turning on the screen for us. I want to review for a moment with you some of our measurements. Usually we flip these cards in math time, but I have them on the board with you, or with me for today. So did you know this is in the back of your arithmetic book, boys and girls? So you might want to take a second right now. Go ahead and open that up. You can look at your page with me as I look at this page that's up here on the board. So first we know that all of these are measurements of time. 60 seconds equals 1 minute. 60 minutes is in an hour. 24 hours equals 1 day. 7 days equals 1 week. About 52 weeks gives us our year. There are 12 months in a year, 365 days in 1 year, but not this year. In 2020, you might remember this is a leap year, so that would be 366 days. We had an extra day in February this year. Next, we have our measurements of liquid. We have 2 cups gives us a pint, 2 pints equals 1 quart, and 4 quarts equals 1 gallon. Up here we have length. Now in my class I always tell them to show me a foot. So this is about a foot, and this is about an inch. We got a centimeter here, and then of course a yard is really big. And that'll help put it in your mind, those measurements as well. There are 12 inches in 1 foot, 3 feet in a yard, 36 inches in 1 yard, 5,280 feet in a mile. And did you know there's one missing, boys and girls? If you look on the back cover of your math book, you will see these, and you will see that they missed one. Maybe you're already thinking about which one that is. Would you take your pencil? I've got my marker right here. Would you take your pencil and fill that in so that we don't forget that? It's 1,760 yards. I'm going to write out yards since they've been not writing the abbreviations on that side. Equals 1 mile. So go ahead and use your pencil now. I hope you've done that. Add that in so that you have that in the back of your book, and you can review that at any time. Lastly here, we have that 2 pints gives us a quart, 4 quarts gives us 1 gallon, 8 quarts is 1 peck, 4 pecks equals a bushel. Now I want to go back up here to the weight. 16 ounces gives us a pound, and 2,000 pounds is a ton. So I hope that's a help to you. There are some temperatures down here at the bottom. 32 degrees Fahrenheit is freezing point of water. 98.6 Fahrenheit is our normal body temperature. You might remember that. And then 212 degrees Fahrenheit gives us, I hope you said boiling point, because that would be correct. All right, the next thing, I'm going to go ahead and erase this so that you can see our metric measures here. This is in your book as well. It's just underneath the ones that we just went over. We have length. 100 centimeters equals a meter. Something I've been telling my students, if you can remember that centi is 100, that'll be a help to you, boys and girls. And then down here, 1,000 meters equals 1 kilometer. If you can remember a kilo is 1,000, that'll be a help to you as well, boys and girls. For weight, 1,000 grams equals 1 kilogram. Here's 1,000 kilo. I just told you was 1,000. 100 centiliters gives us 1 liter. Here's that word centi. That's going to be 100. And then some more temperatures here. Now these are in Celsius, so they're going to be a little different than our Fahrenheit temperatures. 0 degrees Celsius is freezing point. 37 degrees Celsius is normal body temperature. And then 100 degrees Celsius gives us our boiling point of water. Now, while we get the screen ready for the next thing that we're going to do, I hope you have pages 245, 246 right there in front of you, because we're going to work on that together today. I do want to let you know that you'll be taking an arithmetic quiz today. So we're going to do some review problems together, and then we're going to have the quiz for you on your slides. You'll just answer those quiz questions on a piece of notebook paper. Now, I want to ask that you hedge your paper like you would a spelling test, and then you can just write out those answers, and we'll tell you more about that on the slides. There'll be some good instructions. I hope you took a look at that. Maybe get some help from a parent, grandparent, or whoever it is that's helping you while we're away from school. All right, so here is our paper. I want to go ahead and look at number 1 together. I'm going to read it out loud. Would you read it to yourself as we go? Letter A says, Miss Owens has 10 viola students. She has 3 times as many violin students as viola students. She has 1/5 as many cello students as violin students. How many students does she have in all? You know what? This is what I like to call in my class a two-stepper. All right, we've got to do a couple of steps here in order to get to the final answer. So if you look, let's look at the first question. It says, or the first part, it says that Miss Owens has 10 viola students and 3 times as many violin. We know how many viola students are because it's listed right here. That would be 10. We need to find out how many violin students. Well, if she has 10 viola students and 3 times as many violin, we're going to multiply that 10 by 3. And boys and girls, I hope you just said that 10 times 3 is 30. So that's going to be how many violin. So I'm going to write that down there just to keep that into our mind. All right. Next, it says she has 1/5 as many cello as violin. So this is one of those fun problems where we write 1/5 of violin, which was 30, equals. All right. Do you remember these? 1/5 of 30. Well, this is like dividing 30 divided by 5, which would give us 6. So 6 would be how many cello students? Boy, this is like a 3-stepper it looks like today, okay? So now we have figured out we have 10 viola students, 30 violin students, and 6 cello students. Well, let's read the actual question. How many students does she have? Here's our clue words, in all. That means we need to add up all 3 of those that we have just figured out. So we have 10 viola students, 30 violin, and 6 cello. Okay, 0 plus 0 is 0, plus 6 is 6, and 1 plus 3 is 4. So we have 46 students in all. So we're just going to write 46 students on our line here. All right, and you can take care of letter B on your own. I'd like to skip down to section 2 here. Hopefully you remember some of these shapes that we've done. They want you to identify the shapes. This first one here is a cone. So I'm simply going to write cone on the line there. All right, for the next one, I need to count the sides so I can determine, because you know what? The hexagon and the pentagon and the octagon, they can all kind of look alike. So I just start here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What is it that has 6 sides? That's the hexagon. So we're going to write hexagon on the line here. All right, you go ahead and finish up those shapes when we're finished. Let's skip on down to section 3 together. Now, section 3 can be tricky, boys and girls, and oftentimes we have sections like this on our quizzes and tests. It says follow the signs. Don't let them trick you. Make sure you notice if you're adding, subtracting, or multiplying. I tell my students they can always circle the operation that's being asked just to put it in our mind one more time. So this letter A is asking us to add, okay? So we're going to start here at the top. 8 plus 2 is 10, plus 4 is 14. I'm going to carry my 1 and write my 4. 1 plus 7 is 8, plus 6 is 14, plus 8 is 22. So I'm going to write a 2 here and write a 2 there. Starting at the top, 2 plus 9 is 11, plus 4 is 15, plus 3 is 18. Don't forget to place your comma, 1, 2, 3, comma. That's 1,824. I'm going to skip on over and do letter C with you, okay? So again, I'm going to circle my operation. Oh, they're asking me to multiply. We start right here with the 9, and we're going to work our way down. So 9 times 8 is 72. So I'm going to write a 7 there and my 2 there. 9 times 5 is 45, plus 7 is 52. So I'm going to write a 5 there and a 2 there. 9 times 7 is 63, plus 5, 68. So I'm going to put my 6 and write my 8. 9 times 7, 63, plus 6, 69. So I'm going to write 69. Don't forget, 1, 2, 3, comma, 69,822. Hey, if you're working on those letters B and D and you have a question, please make sure you ask someone so that you can get help on that specifically before we take the quiz. All right, if you'll flip your paper, I'm going to get things erased here, and we're going to go on to the back of your page. We have more of these that we can work together today. Okay, if you look up here, this is section 4. Now this section here, if you'll remember last week, we figured up the biggest number that would go into both the numerator and the denominator. It can't just go into one, it has to go into both of them, okay? So let's take a look at letter A. We have 9 and 15. You have to think of a number that will go into 9 and a number that will go into 15. I hope you just thought of 3, because you would be correct. 3 will go into 9 3 times, 3 will go into 15 5 times. So we're going to write a 3 here. All right. Over here, looking at letter B, we have 6 over 9. Now they've put just one dash here, so we know that we need to fill in one number that will go into 6 and into 9. My immediate thought might be 2, but it won't go into 9 evenly, so 3 does. Maybe you thought of that. So 6 divided by 3 would give me 2, and 9 divided by 3, of course, would give me 3. So I'm going to use a 3 there. You're going to go ahead and finish up that section on your own again whenever we finish together today. If you'll look at section 5 for me, please. It says reduce to lowest terms. Now section 5, boys and girls, takes section 4 to the next level. Okay? You have to know what it is that goes into both the numerator and the denominator, and then do it. Okay? Remember, we talked about before they gave you that number, but now we have to come up with that on our own. So now in section 5, we're actually going to do the dividing and give that new fraction. Okay? You'll notice here in letter A, it's the same as this letter A. So what are we dividing by? That would be 3. So I'm going to come down here, and you can write in divided by 3 if that's a help to you. And then the new fraction, 9 divided by 3 is 3. 15 divided by 3 is 5. Last week I talked about you can multiply backwards to check yourself. So 3 times 3 is 9. 5 times 3 is 15. We did that correctly. So 9/15 equals 3/5. That's our new fraction. All right, for letter B here we have 6 over 9. Hey, we already figured out the greatest number that will go into both of those, which was 3. I'm going to do this one in my head. I'm not going to write divided by 3. I'm going to try that just in my brain here. So 6 divided by 3 would give me, hopefully you said 2, you would be correct. So I'm going to write my 2. And then 9 divided by 3 is 3. So my new fraction is 2/3, so 6/9 equals 2/3. All right, so you'll finish up that section here in a bit. Section 6, boys and girls, you're simply writing the products. If you'll remember, a product is an answer to a multiplication problem. So they're giving you factors, and you have to give the products. You have already started with the 10s and 11s last week, so this is kind of review for that. I hope you're doing well with those. We'll look at letter A here together. 11 times 10. What is 11 times 10? It's going to be 110. All right, and then letter B, 12 times 11. That's a big one, but that one would be 132. And you'll be finishing that section on your own here in just a moment. Section 7 here, write the Arabic number. You know, I had some boys and girls asking me what the Arabic number is. Do you know that's the numerals that we used? But they're giving you here Roman numerals, okay? And hopefully you remember that X is 10 and that I is just 1, All right, so if we have two x's, then we have 10 and 10, which would be 20. Now what's interesting is we have a 1 in front of the x, okay? When the lower one comes before the higher one, we have to subtract. So we would have 10 and 10 makes 20. This would be 9, so we have 29. So I'm going to write that on the line there, okay? Then for letter B, we have x, which is 10. Now this time, the lower number comes after the higher one, which means we can add these together. So we have 10, this would give us 6, so 10 and 6 would be 16. So I'm going to write that there, and you'll finish out those on your own. Just remember, x is 10, v is 5, and I is 1. And that'll be a help to you. All right, looking down here, we have fill in the blanks. We have a greater than or a less than, okay? So we have to determine which one the alligator is going to eat. Like I tell my students when we have some of these measures, I always refer to like chocolate milk or a candy bar, you know, which one is it that we would want more of, okay? So in this one here, we have a quart or we have a peck. Which one would we want more of? Well, this one would be a peck. So I'm going to draw my line like that because that's where the more is would be a peck. Now a yard or a foot? Okay, I want you to think for a minute. If I like chocolate bars, do I want a chocolate bar that's a yard or do I want a chocolate bar that's a foot? Well, if I like it, I'm going to want a yard, okay? So then we know that yard is bigger than a foot. And you're going to finish out those here on your own in just a moment. Hey, I've enjoyed our time that we've spent together this morning. I wish we could be together in person, but that's not the way things are right now. But I sure do miss you. I miss seeing your faces and spending my days with you. And I know that Mrs. Whiting and Miss Nally feel the same. I hope this has been a help to you this morning. Keep watching the videos. We're here for you, trying to help you get through this time that we're separated. Remember that quiz. It's on your slides. There'll be instructions on there for what to do with that. Have a good day.